come in. I mean, where's my money? And the second thing is that since it's a personal show, not planning to lie to you, not that you would know, but I'm just saying. I personally believe that it's very important to point out in the beginning that those things happened. Maybe not, like, I mean, physically in the same time frame, but all of the things I'm going to be telling you about at one point or another in my life had their effect on the end product, which we're about to witness as soon as the... We're good? Oh, amazing. Well, then I guess I have only one thing left to do. Kickstart the timer, which with my looks is a very dangerous thing to do. Click. Let's hope we're not going to go boom in the end. See, they're waiting on it. They're like, this is exactly what we need at the fringe. Eastern European explosion. Okay, enough of jokes. It's a serious matter. Good evening. Welcome to Why I Stayed, a Gothic review of life. That add-on there is purely for the flex, as they say. I just thought that since I have a thesaurus on my computer, I might as well use it every now and then. Which led to the fact that on the second day of the show, I had two lovely Norwegian people in who thought that I'm going to be talking about ghosts, vampires, and I'm going to wear a lot of leather. Sorry to disappoint. So the show is about me being in the darkest pit of my life so far. I'm not quite out of there yet. I mean, I'm a comedian. I think it's never going to happen. You have to stay in the pit, otherwise, you're going to be too happy for the job. That's not a good thing. But I guess it would be logical to begin from where the flyer tells us that we should begin. 11th of July, 2023. Just another day, one might say, in the neighborhood. It was a lovely sunny day in my hometown of Tallinn, Republic of Estonia. And while everybody else were having fun and enjoying myself, I was composing a suicide letter because I had made a decision that I've had enough. And I was composing the suicide letter doing an open mic. Well, not on stage, but not quite Arthur Fleck from The Joker. But I can sympathize with the mindset. While everybody else were having fun, there were jokes being told. I received a message that turned out to be a proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. It wasn't threatening or anything. It just said that the project I was supposed to be involved in for a year is being pulled. And my mind saw it as a last straw. I became Humpty Dumpty that fell off the wall. Though nobody rushed over to put me together. And I experienced an outer body experience, which wasn't anything like they show you in the movies or tell you in the books or whatever. There was no light at the end of the tunnel. I did not fly away. I basically witnessed my mind and my body having a couples fight. With the third party involvement of spell check. It was a very awkward day. Like my body was just furiously typing away at a smartphone, and these hands are not made to type away at anything, especially not the smartphone, because I was hitting all the buttons. My mind lost it. It was yelling at my body. Both of them ignored me completely. I was a fifth wheel in my own mind-body relationship. And at some point, spell check just went nuts because body was doing something, mind was yelling at it. Spell check decided, you know what, let's make it fun. See what's going to happen. A bit of foreshadowing. I'm very happy I didn't go with that particular original note. By now I have reread it, made some amendments, stuff like that, because the original note was horrible. My personal favorite still was that the opening sentence of the original note was, I'm checking out because the world is full of aunts. What aunts? I only have one. No, it was the most popular Scottish word right after COVID. And I was looking at all of that and thinking, I wonder where these two are going, because when my body finished typing that note, it uploaded it to the cloud, because I come from a digital country. We don't do pen and paper. Which is sad because I might have John Wicked myself out of the situation after writing that note, but then it would have been no problem with spelling because, paper and pen get along better than it turns out in my mind and my body with my smartphone. Yeah. So it uploaded to the cloud and it switched the phone off. It was the final solution for my body. Now it's done. And then my mind was like, okay, genius, what now? And both of them discovered that they inhabited almost middle-aged man from Eastern Europe who was never taught to deal with his emotions. Shocking, I know. Broken man from a broken generation raised by a broken generation. It's never happened before. Definitely not. That's why they called it the Cold War, because if it would have been emotions involved, it would have been hotter. But no, I myself was also watching at those two thinking like, okay, actually, good question. What are we going to do now? Letter is written. It's uploaded. Probably somebody read it, so they're expecting like sequel to this part. And then my body went suggesting that, hey, since the letter anyways looks like something Virginia Woolf would have written, why not drowning? We're not very far from the sea. Walk in, don't walk out.
Welcome.
To which my mind started laughing because it reminded my body of two very important things. A, I'm still fat, but I'm bad at swimming. And it was like, dude, you know, the first reaction you as a body will be having is that you will not want to drown, and it's going to be a very long process. You're not very useful. And I had flashbacks back to childhood where I almost drowned as a kid because I ignored messages sent by my parents, my friends, my family. They all said the same thing. Sasha, you're a husky boy. You don't know how to swim. Don't go anywhere near the water. You're gonna drown like a rock. I didn't listen to them as a child because I wanted to be gangsta. I went near the water. I almost drowned like a rock. Was saved by a neighbor, mainly because it was his pond. So, you know, there are things you want in your pond, and there's definitely things you don't want in your pond. And the neighbor didn't want his neighbor's child in his pond as an accessory. No, thank you very much. It might have something to do with the fact that my dad was a cop, you know, paperwork and stuff. Who want to deal with that? And the second thing my mind reminded my body was that I live near what is known as the Baltic Sea by the three Baltic nations, or the Gulf of Finland by the other country across the sea, which is Gulf to them. We all hope that Donald is going to come around and rename everything. But my mind was like, dude, you do know it, in the beginning it's very shallow. It takes time to get to the deep end. And yes, you like walking, but that's just going to be weird. You walking towards Finland. And everybody is like, why doesn't he take a ferry to find a job in Scandinavia? Just walking into the... Yeah. So my body got very, very disappointed. And did what couple fights usually lead to. Body went at my mind, okay, what's your suggestion? And mine went a bit of diva on me. I was like, well, of course we have to go to the classics. That's of course meant that since I live next to railway tracks, a good old jump in front of the train would be in order. You know, Anna Karenina, a bit of classic Russian literature. I'm half Russian, half Estonian. Well, I'm more of a smoothie, but it's more difficult to explain. Half and half. Half-blood prince. I was there before Harry Potter even tried. But at least, you know, Harry got a book. Yeah. I got the bullying. Well, somebody has to. Somebody has to. But then my body started laughing, saying, like, hey, mind, check this one out. Number one, we live in a country where construction is all the time ongoing on the railway. How do you know it's not a bus day? That means that they usually replace trains with buses if they're reconstructing the railway. And it would be a bit uncomfortable if you don't check whether or not it's a bus day and take that leap on the tracks and turns out that the next train is in like 3 days. And you're there, you know. Hopefully you land in a not very awkward Roman salute position or something. Everybody gonna be taking selfies, giving comments. I know my neighbors. I know my neighbors. And the second thing Body suggested was that even though the sea is closer, like by the time we're gonna get to the railway, it's gonna be dark. No trains. Again, like If you're going to be waiting there for a whole night, somebody is bound to notice. Questions might be asked. And you know, if a guy with my looks is standing in the middle of the overpass near railway, somebody definitely is going to call the cops. Just in case. Just in case. If not the cops, then maybe railway cops. Who knows? So, while all of this was happening, I felt an intervention. Somebody put a hand on my shoulder. That somebody was a host of an open mic. Event was still ongoing. I was still on the list to perform. And the host told me that, hey, you're up. Go kill it. We're going to see how it's going to go. I mean, it's kind of have a reason, kind of wrote the letter. Had a good time. I personally think that people enjoyed the fact that they could see depression in my eyes. You know, they saw that this is going to be banger. This dude, like Humpty Dumpty is in pieces. Let's go. Eastern European comedy. It's going to be great. We don't want funny. We want painful funny. Then it's good. We can have another bottle of wine. We can unwind. Yeah. Well, I did my part, did my set, walked off the stage, took my bag, decided that, well, you know, I'm not going to walk towards the sea, I'm going to walk towards home, towards the railway, by a seaside. You know, keeping options open. And when I got out of the venue, I discovered that somebody had read the note and had called the police. And police officers arrived and they tried to contact me. Because they hadn't read the note, they just knew that I'm a bit in a dark place. And I could see that they were not ready for that because I don't know if it was their first intervention in a post-suicidal world. But male part of the dynamic duo wasn't very ready for the discussion of emotions because, I mean, he's a man. He was like, oh my God, another man talking about emotions, Jesus Christ. Thank God I have a gun. Problem solved. His partner, lovely lady, she asked some questions like, how are you feeling right now? I was like, right now I'm feeling very confused. She's good. If you say so. I mean, you're an expert. Not going to argue with a woman with a gun. Generally don't argue with women, but armed women, that's the next category. I've played enough video games to know that it's a bad idea. Resident Evil, I learned all my best tricks from there. And we had a chat, and the host of the comedy, Mike, was next to me. We were walking in the same direction because we had the same direction to walk, and she would just go to her house. And I would continue on to my neighborhood. And they were like, okay, but you seem to be chill. Like, so what's your plans? I'm like, I don't know. Go home. We're going to see what's going to happen. And they're like, okay, but you don't plan to hurt yourself at the moment. I mean, they were looking towards the sea all the time. I was like, don't worry. I tried to be edgy and comic and said, you don't have to look at the sea. I like trains more. They were like, it's not funny. I mean, I know, buses, right? Too much technicalities to take into consideration. What does the man need to do to off himself in this country? What is it, a Lego special set? No, just simple solutions, binary solutions. So, if you're going to joke like this, we'll have to take you with us, take you to the psychiatric hospital. I'm like, they're not going to check me in because I have not hurt myself. And I went to law school. I kind of imagine what you need and need not to do to get into certain places. So I told them that no worries, I'm going to take a walk, see what's going to happen. I did. Walked home, discovered that some of my mates had read the message as well. Then they had initiated a social media inquiry into where I live. Always good to have friends but know where to find you, right? So they finally determined where I live. Originally they went to my old apartment. I'm still very hopeful that they at least ask 6 people in my old building, like, have you seen the dude who wants to kill himself? My old neighbors didn't like me. Neither do my new neighbors, but that night was in that sense awkward. That I was planning to just hang around home, but they were like, no, you're not staying in your own apartment. I'm like, where am I supposed to stay? Under the bridge, waiting for a train. They're like, cut out the train part. I'm like, nope, I like trains. I do. Seriously, my grandma was a bookkeeper on the railway, so I'm a huge fan of trains. As a kid, more like, wow, big, strong, masculine. Now, solution. Still big, strong, masculine. I spent the day at mate's place, woke up early. I usually do, but he was like, so what's your plans for today? I'm like, I don't know, never been suicidal before. Can I go home now? Check on my apartment. I'm paying for the bloody thing. I was like, yeah, you look better now. I'm like, really? I saw myself in the mirror. I do not believe you, but thank you for the compliment. So I went home and I reread my lovely note. Discovered that, spending 15 years as a school teacher did not improve my battle experiences with spell check. It's a very funny note. Not just because of the bunch of wants and stuff like that, but also because it was exactly the result of something you would type out so fast that you would not even focus on what it is that you want to say. So there was zero arguments about why I want to check out, but I would repeat it every other sentence so that people wouldn't think that I'm joking. I even titled it, not joking, suicide. They're like, okay, that's good, straight to the point. Still have the note, by the way. I'm all for the recycling. You never know when another day of deep sadness is going to roll over. And then after I reread that note, I asked myself this question. So, Alex, but why did you stay? I mean, is it because that you couldn't figure out something as mundane as finishing a life you don't like? Probably, yeah. I spent a couple of hours thinking that, okay, now that I'm home, and statistically this is the most dangerous place in the world, things happen in the apartments, apparently. I Googled that. I had plenty of time, and Google was like, oh, home, dude, dangerous. Go for a walk. I'm like, I did a walk yesterday, dangerous as well. Maybe not. I remember a couple of years before writing that note, I was in a dark place as well, and I was living in an old apartment then, and thinking about hanging myself. I wrote a joke that I wonder if the construction shops or the places you can, the Home Depots, have 2-for-1 specials for depressed people. I have a friend who works in a Home Depot. He's like, we don't. I'm like, thank you, very informative. So I just need a rope and something to tie it to. But I was living in an old Soviet apartment building, and I knew that even if I'm gonna try with my body weight, I'm a bigger danger to the building than that building is to me. So I would just look at my ceiling and like, this is not gonna hold. And again, it's like, how am I gonna explain that to my neighbor? Sorry, you have a hole in your floor. Not good at suicide. I'm gonna try tomorrow again. How about no? Let me fix this hole. Wait for a year. Then I thought that did I hang around because I tried to find some kind of peace of mind and solution to that? No, I realized that it's very hard for me to achieve any good results with feeling good about myself, because I'm about 40 years too late for that. I grew up in what they call the post-Soviet space, which is a very ridiculous term, because if you ever gonna travel anywhere in Eastern Europe, it's still Soviet. There's no post. Mentality is still there. But yeah, we changed the flags and the languages, and we're doing better than we did in Soviet Union. But there's plenty of people who still think that they live in Soviet Union. So it's early for the post-Soviet space. It's kind of like we're trying to get out of the Soviet space would be a good solution. And I spent my youth and my childhood as a half-blood kid, in the sense that I learned very early on that I don't belong anywhere. Like my dad was Russian, so his relatives generally didn't like me. It's a Russian mentality, you know. They generalize. We don't specify issues. We just don't like you. We're good. My mom's Estonian. Her relatives are like, yeah. Otherwise, school, like you can be fat and small and all of that, but this Russian part, can we get it out of you? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. We can try. Maybe I'm gonna lose some weight in the process. Who knows? I mean, for me, the most awkward thing was that I spent first 15 years of my life trying to figure out what's worse. Me stealing bullies' material, because that was the technique I acquired rather early on, that in order not to suffer for hours from verbal bullying, I would start demeaning myself. Pisses the bullies off to no extent. You know, I took their material, so we would escalate to physical violence quicker. Physical pain fades faster. So you're like, all right, I have some good material. Gonna go on the stage, get my butt kicked, and can spend the rest of the day with 2 other dudes who are bullied. And there was 3 of us. It was the misfits of our school, the gulag of misery. We would hang there. It wasn't even hanging, we would just sit in the same corner because everywhere else was very dangerous. Mom would always be like, how your friend? I'm like, I wouldn't call it friendship. It's kind of a survival. And we don't even have numbers to protect ourselves. We're all miserable, we're all fat, and other dudes go to boxing. We are for them what a rubber ball is for a dog, an exercise. We can have fun. I remember we had this misconception about how to get happy. Nowadays we talk about people who call themselves incels or chads or whatnot. We just knew that what we need to succeed with women was a pool. We were very specific about it because we were raised in the times where Estonian TV would show lovely TV series like Melrose Place and Beverly Hills 90210. And all 3 of us knew that everything happens at the pool. As soon as we're gonna get the pool from somewhere. Basically, Pamela Anderson is gonna run over from Baywatch and we're all saved. But then we realized that the only pool in our neighborhood is for elderly. And that a tidbit too much experience. Yeah, for 13-year-olds. Didn't happen. I was thinking about that as well. That, I mean, the preconception of learning emotions could have been taking something away from those rom-coms and TV series we were shown. But it was a very awkward time in my country because we, in addition to Melrose Place and Baywatch and Beverly Hills 90210, yes, I remember the numbers. We also had extensive knowledge of Knight Rider and A-Team, and that made those things much more complicated. Like we thought that if we're gonna drink enough milk, we're at least gonna be big. We were not thinking that we're going to transition that much as to become Mr. T in the end, but at least, we're going to grow. We practiced our shut up fool, all of those good things. It was a bad idea to practice on the boxers. They would shut us up real quick after that. And in addition to all of that, the emotions we learned from telenovelas because we spent a lot of time with grandmothers, and in the 90s and early 2000s, grandmothers of post-Soviet space were big on Latin American telenovelas. Because that was on the TV every evening. Now, the scariest part about that was that at some point, my grandma, who was watching them, was Russian, and my dad got her satellite dish so that his mom could enjoy 24/7, 365 telenovelas channel. Amazing thing. Whoever came up with that was a sadist. I hope he is also forced to watch that because I'm sure it was a he, because it's a Soviet time or a post-Soviet space. But the weirdest thing about those telenovelas was that they were all dubbed by the same dude. There was one man in the 90s who dubbed everything for him. And you know how hard it is to focus on romance and romantic moments in Latin American telenovelas when all characters sound like your dad? I found out that Little Mermaid speaks with a girl's voice. Yeah, when I was 21. Before that, because as a child I saw the Disney cartoons with the same dude dubbing them, and I was like, poor Little Mermaid. I didn't know you can smoke in the ocean. What happened to the voice? Or any other Disney cartoon. Yeah, like Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. Dwarves, all right. But then Snow White shows up and you're like, has anybody informed the prince that he's about to marry into a seriously cancerogenic family? Maybe he has other options. Tinkerbell, I heard, is running around somewhere. Then again, there was a huge frog that wanted to marry her. That was more like to the point. If you walked around the streets and looked at men that time, you're like, yeah, I got it, where they got the idea for a frog and a little girl. Gotcha. Not as scary as Brothers Grimm fairy tales. And then I started thinking that staying around for new attempts at love is not such a bad idea, but the problem there is that I'm still unable to rationalize love in a way that I guess it should be understood. Because I'm going to be honest, I've never had, and as awkward as it is to say it, a 40-year-old man in me is laughing. I've never had the talk. The talk that normal parents usually give their children, their sons, about, birds and the bees and all that. My talk was encyclopedic. I'm going to explain. What happened was that in the 90s, computers came to my country and CD-ROMs and all that. Like now, computers of the 90s, nowadays, it's, very arcane culture. But I remember my dad gave me a CD-ROM with Encyclopedia Britannica in Russian translation. Fantastic. I still don't know if the translation was right because I haven't read the original. But he had marked the necessary entries. So he gave me the CD-ROM before he and my mom and my kid brother departed for a long weekend at my mom's birth house in a small village in our country. I stayed behind because I had wrestling practice and wrestling competition the same weekend, and my dad was like, "Whoa, you're going to be home alone? You're going to be having ideas? Here's some information that you need to know." Let's put it this way: reading encyclopedic entries on sex, very confusing. Even in a language you think you speak, because like zero reference. So I did the next best thing. I opened the search engine, which I believe at that time might have been either America Online or Yahoo or something like that, and just started typing in the words. Oof. When I got to the pictures and videos, I was like, we should have started with that. Now, in addition to pool, turns out I need much more. And then my dad came back, my parents came back with my brother, and I got a stern talking about visiting sites I'm not supposed to visit because I'm not 18 yet. I was like, Dad, you gave me the encyclopedia. What did you think I'm going to do? I needed to know. Because in encyclopedia they say one thing, but if you look at this video, it's something else entirely. I have questions. So I was evicted from a living room. That's where the computer was. Yeah, I was evicted. I was sent to my gulag of misery in my own room. And my dad took a deep dive into new information. We never talked about it again. So, I wouldn't really call it the talk. It was very confusing, still is. And that's why I have to say that, I don't have to, but I will. My first serious relationship shockingly didn't work out. I still think about it, though. To be completely honest, if I would ever tell anybody that I have gotten over it, I would be lying. I doubt I'm ever gonna get over it. It's been 15 years, but I'm not saying that heart wants what the heart wants. I'm just trying to figure out what it was that I did. Long story short, I met a girl. That's how it usually happens. Not at the pool, at the club. I was working in the club. She was at the party. Things happened. By things happened, I mean I asked her to leave the premises. Yeah, you know. Shots were involved, tequila shots, not gunpowder shots. Some words were exchanged, not the words you usually exchange before the beginning of something, relationship like, no. We had a fight, mainly because of my job. Part of the job, being a bouncer, you find out a lot about yourself. So a couple of days later, she came back to the club. We picked up where we left off, this time politely. We ended up in going to a date. But it wasn't like really going to a date. She just invited me to have a cup of coffee, and I did not have any logical reason not to go. Though my mind tried to warn me that, you know, a couple of days ago, you almost got into a fist fight with her because she didn't want to leave. We hung around a bit. If I knew before that you know, in telenovelas it takes them around 600 episodes to start considering whether or not in next 600 episodes we should try to kiss somebody. I did it in 6 episodes. I'm that good. No. I didn't have to do much. I was kissed on a 6th date. It was, for me, as much as a surprise as for everybody who writes telenovelas. They're like, dude, you were supposed to wait for another 500 episodes. Like, I don't have time. It's post-Soviet space. You have to take what you're given. We started going out. It was working perfectly up until the time I realized that, you know what, I should act upon my options. There's no time to be wasted. I shouldn't wait. I was in love. I was. I was contemplating when to pop the question, as they say. Before I could pop the question, she got there first. She cheated on me. So the question became kind of moot. I have to say, very difficult to return a custom-made ring in a country that hasn't discovered eBay yet. Yeah. Who are you gonna give it to? It's like, you know, walking around hometown with excuse me, can I see your finger, please? Don't look at me like this. It's a scientific reason. Don't fit, sorry. I know, looks a bit awkward. It's Men and Rings, if you look at me, Lord of the Rings, my favorite book. This is my ring. I am Gimli, protector of the realm. They ended up selling it to a pawn shop. Better than nothing. Some money recouped. After that, shockingly, lost any belief in love. Not that I had much of it before that, but didn't work really out. Now I still sometimes get messages. Those awkward messages. Like, what you doing? Not you. But I don't have answers to that. What am I supposed to say? What am I doing? Trying to go on with my life. Now, of course, the messages have stopped, because that would be a moot question here. What are you doing? Contemplating suicide. Thank you very much. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. How's that going? I'm like, top notch, top notch. New plans, new ideas. But then again, I mean, there's a lot in me to blame for that as well. That was before we discovered dating apps that now ask for psychological profiles. That's why I don't use them. I personally think that, you know, I cannot be not honest. Why would I lie on a dating app when everybody else does? But if I would get like lists, I tried dating apps and I watched, read the questions and I Googled what those different acronyms are, and I'm like, I basically have all of them. That's gonna be a long list. I mean, I have better chance of finding somebody in a waiting room of my psychiatrist. I mean, we're all there. we don't need an app. We're just gonna look at each other and go, so, how you doing? Bit depressed, I see. Yeah, cool. Very hot, very hot. How's the self-esteem issue? Non-existent. Fist bump. Ever written a letter? You have two? My girl. Yeah, it would be awkward for a psychiatrist though. But yeah, didn't work out. And then I realized that I stayed because I need to finish a conversation. I need to finish a conversation not just with my demons, but with myself. In addition to the childhood traumas of being bullied and not understanding emotions and not being able to talk about them, and even, yes, suffering from a broken heart. I mean, my heart was broken before already, but it kind of physically experiencing that did not help. Did not help. And I'm not talking here about any kind of imaginary relationships. Everybody has fantasies. Some of them scarier than others. I mean, I haven't acted on mine. Fingers crossed. That's good. Yeah, I mean, this is a scary thing. I have to admit, when I was rereading that note again and again, I realized that there is a reason I'm so fond of serial killer criminal novels. I am. Don't worry. I left the novel at home, but I've always been, ever since a child. Both of my parents were in law enforcement, so I was driven towards reading what they were reading. They were reading Golden Age crime, but I remember one day watching TV and seeing a lovely movie called Silence of the Lambs. Amazing. I mean, let's put it this way. I kind of understood the guy who was suing a suit. I'm not saying that what he was doing is a nice thing or you should do that. But when I was later thinking about what led that character to doing that, yeah, well, you know, if you break person enough, he or she might start doing awkward things. I'm not trying to find any excuses here. I mean, the real life versions of Buffalo Bill are dangerous and ought to be isolated from the society. I remember I saw a Godfather movie as a child, and for years was perplexed. Not with the violence of the movie, I wanted to know what happened to the rest of the horse. Like the legendary scene of a producer waking up with the head of the horse in his bed. Don Corleone says hello. And I remember I was a pest for my mom's home village librarian. She's from a very small place, but library, center, heart of the village. And that librarian, he was afraid of me because he knew that as soon as I'm gonna arrive, I'm gonna be pestering him that I wanna read Godfather. And he was like, you're too young for that, you know, go read Winnie the Pooh. Like, I don't want Winnie the Pooh. I've read Winnie the Pooh, boring. And Winnie the talk about children's book. Winnie the Pooh, you have a little boy who has imaginary friends in his backyard. And he goes on an adventure. I grew up in the Soviet Union. We had a Soviet version of Winnie the Pooh. Not as romantic. That dude should have been in jail for the things he threatened to do to a piglet. And they don't have it in a Disney version, but in a Soviet Union version, there's every other episode, Winnie Pooh needs a gun for some reason. And as a kid, you watch that. What are we being taught here? That, you know, if your friends don't do what they promised, let me get a gun. What kind of friendship is that? What? Deuces and eights. Let's see what's gonna happen. And I finally read The Godfather, and I realized that we don't know what happened to the horse. Probably went for meat. Who knows? But I stayed around to finish the conversation with my demons, and that conversation began in 2010, when my father died. That's the most understandable and kind of pinpointable situation in my life I can grab hold of. Why I think I got the idea that I want to go. It just took me 15 years to realize that. My dad died in 2010, And I'm still knowledgeable that, and I have to live with the understanding that we'll never be able to say sorry. Me and my dad, we didn't have a very good relationship at the end. And the last time we talked was 2 days before he passed. It was my 26th birthday. He called me, we had a chat. I made him a promise that I'm gonna try to work it out. Never will be able to do that. So now I just have to work it out here without being able to somehow understand whether or not I'm working towards the right goal. And what happened in 2010, in addition to the fact that I met that lovely girl that did not become my wife because I never asked, because I didn't see a point after feeling hurt that they say that you could work out everything, but I might not like myself very much, but there is a very small remnant of self-esteem somewhere down there, which I drag with me at the bottom of my bag. I just always forget it's there. And it's okay, it's sure. So what happened was I decided to give it a shot of drinking myself to death. Did not succeed. 13 years I tried. I have to say, notwithstanding the fact that I have probably drank almost every drink known to man, the only one I don't know why. But in my country, there is a form of vodka which is served in those little plastic cups that in progressive states are usually used in hospitals for jello. In my country, some genius, and I'm going to be honest, if there's ever somebody thinking about a fringe show, then this would be a show, this marketing meeting. What happened? How bad was somebody's weekend that he or she came to work on Monday, you know? Somehow, jello in hand, maybe, you know, straight from the ICU. It was a great festival. I need some water in me. Cannot drink because tequila got there first, so let's take it intravenously. A bit of liquids, you know. And as a breakfast, you pick up this lovely jello. You get to the marketing office, and there's a problem, you know. Liquor producers want something new, brand ideas, and you're there like, Actually, check this one out. It's going to be fabulous. Those little packages, cheapest form of alcoholic high you can get, made of the worst possible spirits. I'm more than certain that they contain things Mendeleev wasn't not even seeing in his dreams. You shouldn't drink that. And still, in 13 years of trying to end my life by drinking it away, never, because I have standards. Like, have I ever drunk tequila, Jägermeister, vodka, beer, wine, cider, probably, you know, during the same night in copious quantities? Yup. Have I ever been in a situation where I've sweated Jägermeister out of myself? Yep. Awful feeling. It kind of looks like you are getting rid of a makeup you never wore. It's a very scary situation. And it takes days to get rid of the bloody thing. And you walk around and you look like you could play in the 80s horror movie. Right there, right then. Zero budget. Just take a phone camera, film me, we're done. Attack of the Pond Monster, episode 26, here we go. He's gotten bigger, you should not have saved him. But I have to admit that during those 13 years, I also accumulated the load of memories that are scary but funny. I'm gonna give my top two personal favorites. Number one, I don't know about you, but I have been in a situation where you wake up in your own bathroom, in your own bathtub, butt naked. Still don't know where my clothes are. It was a lovely suit, by the way. Butt naked, with a pumpkin for a pillow. And it was December. what scares me the most, and that's what I'm trying to figure out with my demons, where did I get the pumpkin? You cannot grow them in winter. But somehow I managed to get rid of my clothes, get a pumpkin, get home. Which again begs the question, where was I holding my keys? And the fact that I was in a bathtub doesn't even scare me. It's just, I think this last iota of my brain was like, things are gonna happen to your body. Get into the tub. Don't go anywhere near the bed. It's easier for CSI to process you in a bathroom. See? I've read criminal novels. I know how it works. I want to make police officers' life as easy as possible. Yes, they're going to be questioned about why he's naked, what's with the pumpkin. Get the major case squad on it. It's not a simple case. We need Mr. Monk and Columbo. Probably even all 3 different CSI teams. But we're going to solve it. Yeah, and it wasn't even me who found me there, it was my flatmate. He had more questions than answers, but even he had to agree that the penultimate question is, where the fuck did you get the pumpkin? What is it? Friday the 13th? Are we doing the Halloween here? And second one, I learned the hard way, you should not cook when you're drunk. Again, I was discovered in my own kitchen, butt naked. Yes, theme. We know my style. You give this bad boy a bit of a drink, Magic Mike, hold on to your trousers. Here we go, daddy's in the house. So firefighters, after they had to enter my apartment both through a window and by breaking down my door, because I decided that what I need at whatever time, I guess around 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, being wasted out of my mind, is some dumplings. And this boy does not eat fried dumplings. This bad boy needs to boil them. That's exactly what I did. Or at least, I started the process, and then I passed out, still trying to figure out why in the process of boiling dumplings I decided to undress myself. What kind of a special sauce was I planning to? So yeah, fire department came in, walked out as fast as they came in, because they were like, yo, this is way beyond our pay grade. Let the police deal with that, dude. Police walked in, took a photo. It's a crime scene, potentially. I might be dead. There's like, water had boiled out, the dumplings had turned into hot, burning coals. Yeah. And the central fire system of the 14-story apartment building. Whoop, whoop, it's the sound of the police. So if anybody wants to know why my neighbors in my old apartment building don't like me, dumplings. Yeah. I didn't have much excuse anyway. They picked me up. It was a lovely Monday morning. I said, I need to go to work there. No, dude, you need to go to the police station. We need to talk. Like, seriously talk. Okay. Did it prevent me from doing it in the future? No. Second time was the charm. Then they threatened they're going to take my pots and pans away if I'm not going to stop. So I stopped. I started ordering pizza. And again, there is something romantic in waking in the morning in your own bed and discovering half of the pizza next to you on a pillow, looking at you going, what's up, bad boy? Hungry yet? This is the drunk's life. You do this stupid stuff, and then you think that actually it's funny, which it is. I cannot deny that. Not looking at me when I'm butt naked. Sorry for that image in your head, but a bit of Eastern post-Soviet space doesn't need to be populated. So after 13 years, I ended up in a hospital. Turns out that my heart was out of sync for a while. Nobody still knows how long. So there are 3 things that I learned in the hospital. Number 1, It's a very bad idea to climb Arthur's Seat at the hottest day of summer with the worst hangover you ever had, and not to turn around where in the middle you almost suffocate. That was me, 2022. Climbing Arthur's Seat, getting in the middle, realizing that I'm about to pass out physically because it's too hot. I have a hangover. I haven't taken a sip of water because I didn't take any water with me. And I didn't take any water with me because I'm not a pussy. I'm a man. Ever since childhood, brought up not to talk about emotions because emotions are for women. It's climbed at Arthur's Seat. By the way, I got lost on top of the Arthur's Seat, didn't know which way to come back. Half of the way down, I realized that I might be on that other end, which is for special climbing equipment. So it looked like Gimli, who had lost the Fellowship of the Rings because he was too drunk to follow them, decided to take a shortcut, to catch up with the ring. When I got down from there, somehow, under the mountain there was a police patrol who just took a one look at me and said, "Go get some water and leave. Don't go back up. Don't go." When I told the story to my cardiologist, she was just clapping for 5 minutes in a row and laughing. She loved me. I spent 2 weeks in a hospital. I was her favorite act, mainly because it was her only act. I told her about the mountain. She asked me about how long I have been considering to quit smoking. I said, well, ever since I started. She was like, fantastic. Now you will have to. I said, I don't smoke anymore. I vape. She was like, amazing. Save so much trouble. Stop vaping. Second thing I realized in the hospital was that I had hit all the masculinity buttons because I was basically the example of what happens if you vehemently deny your own body. Like, I had been having breathing problems for years, and I would be, all right, today I'm a bit of out of breath. I'm not going to have that first cigarette with my coffee in the morning. Just going to have coffee. Then walk to work. Might go crazy on a weekend, have a salad, see what's going to happen. Switch from cigarettes to vape because papaya, pineapple. With cigarettes, you don't get Marlboro adding taste to the filter. And then you discover mint-flavored little plastic stick you can suck on, and it's manly. Because I remember that time when I was smoking and the huge, those amazing dildo-shaped vapes came to my country, and you would see dudes on the door going, man, cigarettes will kill you. Exhuming vape from every orifice of their body, looking at you going, this is better. Order taste straight from eBay, you can mix themselves. I'm like, cool. Don't do cigarettes, man. Order stuff from internet, so much better for you. We met in the cardiology ward again. So I realized that if you don't pay attention to your body, you'll go nuts. And the third thing I realized in the cardiology ward is that it's going to be a tough break for me, because as soon as I went cold turkey on my liquor, I went full in on the drugs, prescription medication. Very important distinction, because my drugs have packaging. Yeah. Well, I mean, I asked my mates with whom I used to go to school, some of them are involved in what you would call off-the-shelf pharmacy business. Mm-hmm. And they were like, we have some tablets too. I'm like, oh man, I'm good. I'm stacked. I have 8 different pills. They're like, why not 2 more? We have some good stuff. We just brought it in, in different bodily orifices. Oh, thank you very much. I'm more of a pharmacy kind of dude. Can I go take my drugs? And that's when it happened. Less than a year later, after I went cold turkey, I was writing that letter. Because the first thing that happened, the same day I was released from the hospital and went home, I realized that I have neighbors now. They don't cook, they don't clean, they don't pay rent. They come out of the shadows every night and sit around me on the bed going, do you want to know where you got the pumpkin? Do you? I'm like, no, I don't. They're like, okay, we're just gonna wait. And then you end up yelling and screaming, which is good if your neighbors have little child, because then they think that you are up because their child is up. And you don't blame the baby. You just know, we're having the similar dream. I just have a louder voice. And then the baby realizes, oh, you think you're louder than me? Check this one out. We are going full a cappella. I want to wake everybody, including that one dude on the 5th floor. And then he's going to blame you because you're older. Amazing. So now I'm 40, I'm on drugs. Finally. Yeah. Took me 38 years though. That's an awkward thing for me to somehow wrap up that. I spent 38 years knowing that drugs will kill me. Well, because my parents kept telling me, they were in law enforcement. Like, Sasha, don't do drugs are bad for you. Now, last 3 years, I've been hearing the counter argument from every doctor I meet. They're like, dude, if you're not gonna do drugs, you're dead. I'm like, but what I'm gonna tell my mom? They're like, don't tell anything, just take the drugs. Oh, that's a bit dangerous. They're like, yes, but you know, you're a man. Live dangerously. Live dangerously. Let's see what's going to happen. So I'm still here. I'm having that conversation every night. Probably going to have one today as well. Who knows how it's going to end. I've made friends with my demon. They don't like me much. Turns out I scare them. This is a bit of a tough thing, like when in the beginning you are yelling because they are in the room, and now you are the one that walking into the room sees demons going, dude, can we have a day off today? I'm like, no, it's not this kind of a relationship. I need that darkness. Then go read the note. I'm like, no. Note is fine now. It's spell checked. It's logical. It's too good.
Right.
Too good. Can't read the note anymore. We have to talk. So I would like to end this lovely therapy session by thank you doctors for coming. This is it's been amazing. I'm not very certain that the Fringe realized what they are doing when they allowed me to list this show. They were like, it's gonna be the awkward dude with awkward accent. Nobody's gonna understand what's happening. That part I believe is true. He's just gonna talk about dark things because he's from Eastern Europe. Yeah, I am. But I've learned 3 very important things over my conversations. I mean, I had them before as well, but now I kind of made notes because my psychiatrist tells me I have to. She's also scared of me. More specifically, she's scared that I'm gonna run out of money. And last half a year, our sessions been more like motivational speeches for me to get a real job. I kind of feel like I have my mom for my therapist, because my mom decided that she's not gonna encourage me anymore in the sense that, you know, sit on my ass going that I need a real job. She's like, you're 40, figure it out. By the way, the couch is now taken by the cat. She means the couch I used to sleep on when I lived at home. So I figured out 3 things. Number 1, for a man who discovers emotion, our future is bleak in a sense that we become kryptonite in a very Superman way. I have mates who are scared of being left alone with me because I might start talking about feelings. They're like, don't do that. You know. Plus, I drink non-alcoholic beer, so I'm, past the point of redemption. They're scared that next thing for me is that I'm gonna get a sex doll or something because I live alone. I'm like, I cannot get a sex doll. Demons are under the bed. There's no place for her. Sorry, my heart is taken. Second thing I learned is that talking about this stuff helps, but exactly. But the important thing is to always warn others that you actually mean it, because if you are a comedian who talks about his feelings, you usually end up in a situation where everybody thinks you're joking. Like when I wrote the note and I posted it online, most of the comments under it were like, nice one, dude. That's a good joke, good material right there. One dude wrote, good luck. I was like, what is it, Taken movie?
Yes.
And one dude said that if I decide to jump, do a backflip. Which kind of makes sense. I mean, at least he had hopes. I mean, with these knees, no backflips. No flips either. It's going to be straight down. And the last but not the least, I've learned that most of it would have been avoided if about, let's say, 30 to 35 years ago, at least one school counselor would have taken the time in their day to truly listen to what a garden gnome lookalike was saying. But they didn't. Now, I'm not blaming them. I'm okay with that, because they had their hands full with their own depression. I mean, I remember my school counselors. If anybody needed help in that school more than me, it was them. So expecting from them any kind of intervention, maybe it's good they didn't, because then I would have been in a cult or something. But by now, I've reached the understanding that I'm going to stick around for a while, finish that conversation. Who knows what's going to happen? Might write a sequel to the note. Might take a new look at the railway. Though now I've reached a situation where drugs help. Not very, very child-friendly, I know, but they stabilized my mind to the situation where I've realized that when it's a dark day, I'm able to get out of it by cracking a joke at myself, and then my mind and body are going to have this lovely chatter among themselves. But this time they don't exclude me anymore. Now I participate. We have a threesome. And then the spell check kicks in, and we're all like, God damn it. Here we go with the ons again. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Why I Stayed. Thanks so much for coming out, for supporting. I hope you're going to go and see a real Fringe show too. Something like really fringy, really funny, heartwarming. I mean, things are happening. There's a lot of... Go see a kids show. That's a traumatic experience. I did one. It is. I have to say, I guess, if I am allowed to rethink it a bit, in addition to speaking to my demons, one of the reasons actually happy I stick around is that I, every now and then, get the chance to be traumatized by little children. I mean, I don't do it on purpose. With my looks, I have the same effect on kids as I have on Labradoodles. They want to come sniff and touch. Very awkward. But with kids, if they don't talk, they use me as a climbing facility. But if they are reach the level where they can engage with you, they're going to break your heart, but they're going to do it in a cute way. Something like, you're weird, but you're funny. And you're there, thank you. Thank you. And that leads me to the point that if you thought it was funny or like some kind of artsy experience, is a very awkward word. But then, I mean, I speak English as a third language. I'm happy I got through this hour without saying more complicated words. I mean, I said thesaurus in the beginning, and I practiced that one for a long time. If you end up at the Edinburgh Fringe website and you decide to go through the random validation process, which they call logging in to give a review, I mean, I realize why many people give up. I almost gave up when I was registering that show, but something in me was no. Do not give up. You're traumatized enough to do that. And I did. So, but if you end up at a Fringe website and decide to give me a review, I would be very, very thankful, just so that, search engines would know that, wow, trauma works. And last but not least, if you bought tickets, I'm more than happy that you supported me. Thank you so much. If not, that's okay. Thank you for coming, enjoying the show. If you think while walking out of that door that this vagabond's hat deserves a coin, can I gladly accept it? I've discovered that I like samosas in Edinburgh. I've been on a samosa diet for 3 weeks. This is my life. I finished my show by the time that Sainsbury's closed. And there is one lovely shop not far from here where let's put it this way, they're like kids, only they're grown-ups, but even they think I'm weird. Because they've never seen an Eastern European man eating so many samosas. I'm like 2 days away from them taking a photo of me and putting it on their grandmother's wall. Like, you wanted to know who eats the samosas? Here he is. Next time when you're going to be boiling those samosas, look at this bad boy. He likes boiled food. Just thankfully he's not in your kitchen, butt naked. Too many questions. Ladies and gentlemen, that was why I stayed. I've been Aleksandr Popov. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening.
Born free, but forever live in chains, and we battle to existence on and on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take whatever comes to be while keeping hopeful melody, and we'll cruise through the darkness until the warmth of dawn. So roll, roll, you bastards, you never